Good morning and happy Thursday. This is Anthony Special with Hawkeye Traders. I hope everyone is having a great day so far. Before we jump into today's video, I just need to share with you that everything I say and do today is for example and educational purposes only. Please do not take any of what I share with you today as financial advice because it is certainly not. With that, I want to jump into the charts and pick up where we left off yesterday. We were analyzing some ETFs. This is VIS, the industrial ETF. We could see there was definitely a little bit of an upside move here. It's stumbling along in congestion. We're pivoting high, pivoting low. It doesn't seem to be breaking out. On the daily chart, we've gone from a long signal to a neutral signal here. Guys, the industrials are part of the productivity that happens. And, with the pandemic, it's to no surprise that this isn't, this is stumbling a little bit because there was such disruption in the industrial business during the dealings of this COVID-19 pandemic. Next chart we dump into is the Information Technology ETF, VGT. Now, there's no surprise here that this was the winner. I mean, guys, we went from people going to an office every day to work to everybody and their brother, sister, and mother working from home. Information technology was certainly a leading industry during the change. I mean, I know so many people that have left the corporate America. I get up and put a suit on and drive to work every day to I get up in my pajamas, I put a shirt on so that I can take a video from home and communicate with clients and coworkers. And that is what corporate America has basically turned into. I mean, there are many companies out there that are telling their employees they're going to stay home well into 2021. So it's interesting how this has transpired from this pandemic into what is going to be considered the new normal in the course of the way business is done. And guys, there's a ripple effect to this. All those people that got up and went to their office every day that aren't doing that anymore are now not consuming real estate space. So it's going to be interesting to see how this affects the real estate market. I personally, where I live in northern New Jersey, have seen so many businesses go out of business, so many brick and mortar businesses, you just fade away. It's really heartbreaking to see. But we're going to talk about real estate in a second. But I want to share this with you because this was clearly a home run. I mean, you could see even all through 2019 on the weekly chart. You could see all the way back from 2013 on the monthly chart that, the information technology sector has just been the wave of the future. So, guys, this is the materials. VAW, we're going to talk about the materials ETF sector. So materials is an interesting sector right now. You could see on the monthly that there was certainly, impulse correction, larger impulse as the market grew, as the entire market as a whole grew, meaning not just the material sector. As you saw the rallies in the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones Industrial, you saw from 2016 where it looked like it made a bottom there, retested the 13 lows. I mean, how that thing just charged straight up into 18 before all this pandemic came along. Now, I have friends that are in the middle of building homes and things like that, and people that are in all different types of business that, the demand for materials is there, but the supply was so disrupted from the pandemic that this is, it's crawling back, but it's maybe not crawling back with the greatest of a vengeance as some of the other sectors. So I just thought I'd share this with you, give you my perspective on the materials. We are testing weekly and monthly supply here. So I don't know that there's too much more upside. It's really going to depend on what happens in the other components in the market to drive this upwards and onwards. So back to real estate. VNQ, this is the ETF that tracks real estate. Guys, real estate is an interesting asset. I own rental real estate, commercial and residential. I've always liked real estate as part of my portfolio. I don't advocate real estate being all of your portfolio because, we have seen since the subprime crash in 2007, 2008, that real estate doesn't return like it typically did, through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even in the early 2000s. I mean, there was a time where, you bought a house and you could sell it the next month and turn a 10 or 20% profit. That doesn't exist so much today. That's pretty rare. Now we are in the, where I live is the outskirts of Manhattan and New York, Staten Island, Long Island. We're not far from upstate New York and Connecticut. And, with the handling of the COVID pandemic in New York City and with the handling of the social unrest that is occurring right now in the inner New York City area, we are seeing in drones people coming from the city with New York license plates into New Jersey looking to buy homes. A friend of mine called me the other day. He's like, "You'll never believe this. Somebody just knocked on my door." He goes, "My house isn't for sale." He goes, "But they knocked on my door and said they'd like to buy my house." And I go, "Did they even see the inside?" He goes, "No. They live in the city and they want out." So the real estate sector, the suburbs that surround the cities that had, bad cases of COVID or mismanaged COVID, pandemic, that are having and dealing with social unrest right now, those people are leaving. I mean, the exodus that's happening in New York City right now is probably the largest that this country has ever seen. So it's going to be interesting to see what the real estate sector does. I mean, a lot of my realtor friends in town, they are selling houses, hand over fist. In the first day or two, they got 50, 60, 70, 80 viewings, a dozen to 2 dozen offers, and these houses are selling for anywhere from 5 to 10% over asking price, which is just insane. So it's really, the real estate is very interesting because there's just great dynamics. Now, if you leave the suburbs and go to more rural areas, like places where I travel to play golf or vacation, those places that are kind of really off the map, those homes are still struggling to sell, because they're just not super desired locations where people want to raise their families. They're too disconnected from the cities, from the places where the big money's made, from the offices that these people, corporate America, work for. So real estate's going to be interesting. On a commercial side, guys, I see vacancies every day. What restaurant went out of business? What small business went out of business? What retail shop went out of business? That has been heartbreaking and tragic to watch. So the real estate market has so much push and pull because there's just so many different moving components that it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But there's, like I said, there's a great exodus happening in New York City. Those people are leaving in drones to the suburbs of New York State, of Connecticut, and of New Jersey. But then you have the other side. So now we're going to have vacancies, residential vacancies. Now we have commercial buildings, office buildings that these companies have sent all their employees to work from home in front of a computer. Like I'm talking to you. I'm at home. Clearly you can see, I'm in the comfort of my own home having this conversation with you. I'm not at an office. So the new normal is gonna be a big driving factor in what happens in the real estate business. So just something to mull over in your mind, something to keep in the back of your mind. You can see how there's just congestion here. Because there's such mixed emotion about the real estate industry right now. It's just something to watch out for. I thought I'd share those comments with you. Today I want to talk about 7 habits for success. Guys, you should pick something up relative to your life, or something relative to something that you're interested in, or that you're doing, or that you want to learn more about, and read it. I like to read financial papers, or I like to read, financial articles. I'd like to read things about some of my hobbies, whether it be archery or golf or whatever I'm into. I try to read every day, and reading just gives you an interesting exposure. And when I was a kid, I hated to read, but the older I get, the more I actually appreciate it and enjoy it. So it's something that's important. Take a minute and find enjoyment in reading something that fulfills you inside, and that may help you get closer to your next goal, or overcome your current struggle. Make your health a priority. Go for a walk, go for a run, go for a jog, go for a bike ride, go to the gym. Listen, in New Jersey here, the gyms are closed. So if you can't get to the gym, I totally get it. Get some resistance bands, get some dumbbells or weights or something. Do some physical activity that you're investing in your health. Guys, and with that, watch what you eat. You don't have to eat healthy every meal. You don't, listen, everybody's body's different. Everybody reacts to food differently. But, instead of having pizza every night of the week, have pizza to treat yourself, and then, have chicken or salad another night, or go for a steak, or have some seafood, or, balance. You need to consistently balance your health, like you need to consistently balance your trading. And that's something that's so key here, that if you allow success to play a part in everything in your life, you'll be amazed how contagious it becomes and falls in place, in everywhere that you go. Learn from people you admire. Guys, I want to be in the room and not be the guy talking. I want to be the guy listening. I want to be the guy in the room listening to the smartest person talking. If I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room. I need to go to another room where there's somebody smarter who can teach me something. Take that little token, and while it's always great to bring value to a conversation, also absorb something from somebody else. You may not agree completely or whatever, and that's okay. But just take those little tokens that people share with you, particularly people you admire, particularly people that are older and wiser and have done something successful that you would like to mimic, and follow through with that. It's pretty powerful. So I wanted to share that with you, because that's something you should carry with you always. Plan your day the night before. Tonight you should know what you're doing tomorrow. Last night you should know what you were doing today. Guys, listen, life is very unpredictable, but the things that we can predict, the things that we can control, the things that we can allocate time for, we can allocate time to read, we can allocate time to exercise, we can allocate time to cook a healthy meal, we can allocate time to talk to somebody who we admire. That's important. So having that structure in your day and knowing what it's going to be like the night before adds to making your entire life a successful process. So having a successful day is part of having a successful process. It's part of having a successful life. So guys, the night before, just take out a scratch piece of paper and say, listen, I gotta go to the bank, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta go food shopping, I gotta take my kid to the doctor, whatever it is, just write it down. I mean, it's not that painful, it'll take you like 30 seconds. But you'll know at the end of the next day, hey, I accomplished this, I accomplished that, I did this. This didn't work out. And then write down why. Well, I got hung up at my kid's doctor's appointment. I couldn't get to that. Okay. So, you know what? If we missed our 30-minute exercise today, we're going to exercise an extra 30 minutes the next day. But because you wrote it down, you knew you missed it, and that you could hold yourself accountable, for the following day. Keep your goals in front of you. Guys, I've shared this with you in the past. I'll share it with you again. Every 10 years, I write down on a piece of paper in big black marker what my goals are for the next 10 years. And I know 10 years is a long way out, and I know a lot can change. But, these aren't goals of like, hey, I'm going to put my socks on today. These are goals of, hey, I'm going to pay off a mortgage, or hey, I'm going to buy a house, or hey, I'm going to buy a new car, or hey, I'm going to invest for my future, or whatever. These are big macro view goals that you need to write down. And, at the end of every month, I pull out that sheet and I go, all right, did I get closer every day to achieving each one of these goals that are my macro goals over 10 years. And if I do, I put a little check mark. And if I didn't, I put a reason why I didn't do anything about it. It's just a way to hold yourself accountable. Guys, you have no idea how good the feeling is when you take that piece of paper out and you take a big mark and go right across it. Why? Because you accomplished it. You came full circle. And when it's in front of you, now it's not a goal. Now it's an accomplishment because it's behind you. But you get to look at it and go, you know what? I set that goal 3 years ago. It was part of my 10-year plan. But in 3 years, I completed it. Why? Because every month I did something that held me accountable to getting closer to it. Take action. Even when it's scary. Guys, the hardest decisions are awfully the right decisions that you need to make. The ones that scare you, the ones that are most difficult, the ones that sometimes you may feel like have the most consequences to them, those are typically the decisions that you need to break through in the right direction. Those are the decisions that you need to take action on. If you're struggling somewhere, you have to do something different. If you always did what you've always done, you'll always have what you already got. I mean, guys, it's a simple, silly old saying, but it's true. Action is a necessary in anything. Always. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you're doing the same thing over and over again and you think you're going somewhere, you're really going nowhere. You're actually going backwards because, life is a process of moving forward. And have an attitude of gratitude. Be humble. Be happy. Be grateful. Thank people, for their time. Thank people for what they've shared with you. Always give more than you take. I feel like being humble is a huge part of being a successful human being. I know it's played a huge role in my life. I think it's played a huge role in my businesses, in my ventures, in my trading. Guys, when I take a loss, am I happy about it? Nobody's ever happy when they take a loss, but I'm humbled by it. Sometimes when you get 4, 5, 6, 7 winners in a row, you go, oh man, I'm on fire. You're not on fire. The market will humble you if you can't humble yourself. Trust me. So always live with that. The idea of being grateful for every day. Every day is a blessing, in its own way. And whether it's a learning lesson or it's a blessing that you've been given in another fashion, just be grateful for it, honestly. Speaking of being grateful and being humble, I know I've shared with you guys earlier this week and in the past, and I've talked about it in the Skype room, and I've talked about it in a training rooms that Randy and I have done. Big energy profits is something that I've been working on for years and was never successful. It was always a roadblock to get the platform up and running. Hawkeye Traders, Market Trader Daily have come through for me, with me, to build this platform with you folks. It allows me to share with you everything I do on a personal financial level. You can see my trades, you can see my entries, my managements, my trade history. I built my strategy around building wealth and having freedom. I built this product with my team around sharing the wealth with you and sharing that freedom with you. In the next week or two, coming days, you're going to start to see emails coming from Big Energy Profits, from myself, Hawkeye Traders, Market Trader Daily. Guys, open the email. Please, if you have any time in your day that you can carve out a little bit of time to watch the webinar, I really, truly, humbly believe that I will bring you such great value that it makes sense for you to join me, to join my Big Profits Energy Big Energy Profits family. And with that, just take a quick look. If you have questions, comments, concerns, I would love to have your feedback. So send me an email, send me a text message, send me a Skype message, whatever. I'm very interested to see, just how well, just how all this hard money and effort and time and energy that I put into this, resonates with you. So please, like I said, if you have a few minutes, take a watch of the webinar. I would love to have your feedback. Guys, with that, I just want to wrap things up for today. You can always call us at Hawkeye Traders, 888-233-8598. visit us at HawkeyeTraders.com, and you can always email me at team1@HawkeyeTraders.com. Guys, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you in retrospect to these videos I put out every day. I'd love to hear from you in retrospect to products that we're launching, into services we're launching, into how you're using Hawkeye for yourself. Are you swing trading, scalp trading, day trading, position trading? The more I know about you, the more value that I can bring you. And that's my goal. My goal is to flood you with so much value that this is the only place for you to be, because reality, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. Guys, if you are not using Hawkeye Traders yet, if you are not using our indicators, if you're not getting access to our training, our methodology, if you're not working with me or Randy or any of our team yet, click the link below. Check out the vSwarm webinar. I promise you it will move you in the direction of better understanding what, the little tidbits I share with you every single morning here on this, video blog. And with that, guys, have a blessed day, have a great day, have a humble day, have a day filled with gratitude and profit. Take care. Bye-bye.